Welcome to the Alpha J Show. I am your host, the Alpha J, and this will be the third and final episode that I will be discussing Teen Titans Go for a while. The first episode, I talked about how it was a good show, and it started off very solid. The second episode, I started to talk about how the show kind of declined in quality. So now in this episode, I'm going to explain how they know that their quality isn't as good as the cartoons that they are competing with. Unlike regular show, Adventure Time, or even the Looney Tunes show, Teen Titans Go opts to write in a more direct way. Often, they don't teach a moral, and when you don't decide to teach a moral, you usually go for the more comedic route. But what if you don't find the comedic route funny? Then you tend to look at it more seriously. So let's take some solid comedy episodes from, let's say, SpongeBob. Chocolate with Nuts. It was mainly comedic, and if you look at it in a serious light, you can still respect the pacing and the storytelling and the devices because they were spot on. Now let's go back to Teen Titans Go. I don't believe a show has to always try to be the best piece of animation on the planet, but I do believe that it has to be good on some merit. So my whole point is, these episodes to me, on a lot of occasions, gives me nothing to like about it. So let's take this episode for example. The main jerk for this episode is Cyborg. The pacing is horrible. The art style's okay if you don't look too closely. And the worst part is, the moral, if it was really trying to teach a moral, was really bad. It's so bad that there is no way out of this when I explain it. I don't want to spoil it because I want to prove something. Most of you will catch why the ending here has to be one of the worst implications I've ever heard in a modern cartoon. The cartoon starts off with Cyborg excitingly standing on his charging station or bed. He goes on to play a song which we'll just call The Night Begins to Shine. He begins to dance out of his room into the living room. As he dances and lip syncs to the song, he appears to be annoying the other Titans. How long did it take you to do that effect?
Cyborg, we must speak on the topic of the song.
You play it every day, multiple times a day.
Yeah, I do! It gets me pumped up!
For all we know, he could have played this song once, or twice if you count the series, but let's assume that there is no continuity. He only played the song once, unless they're trying to imply that he plays this song all the time, which they didn't. For all we know, he could have just picked up the tune yesterday and played it twice. Remember when Peter found the Bird is the Word record? When they did it, it's shown the family being very miserable while the record was playing in the background. As it annoyed them, it was aware that Peter has been playing the record non-stop. So where is that device here?
On the magnetic strip in this cassette tape lives the greatest song ever written. The Night Begins to Shine. Influenced by the sounds of the 80s, it was 40% written by Carl Burnett, 40% by Franklin Enia, and a sweet, sweet 20% by William J. Reagan.
Did you know that Teen Titans Go has the worst opening segments ever? As much as I like the song, once it stopped, this all went downhill. The pacing here is horrible. You would think a show that did 100 episodes would learn this basic unit of storytelling. Cyborg begins to hype the song, explaining how catchy it is.
Music can transform you, girl.
Transform me, so I can be Optimus Prime?
Is this your little segue into the truck later on? Another thing I have a problem with this show is that the entire show has this one-track mind. Everyone thinks in the same way unless the plot says otherwise. Remember Serious Business? Since one of them couldn't use the bathroom, and I must add, what kind of tower only has one bathroom, especially with 5 people? But back to the point. Since one of them couldn't use the bathroom, they all couldn't. Now, if you're one of the people like me who watches Teen Titans Go closely, you realize that they're all written like if it was one character stretched into 5. That makes another episode seem much more connected. So as Cyborg continues to convince them that the song is rejuvenating and beneficial to the group, the episode adopts a new art style. I wouldn't call it terrible, it's just that it looks like it was made with the same amount of effort that they use for their normal style. And when you adopt a new art style gimmick into your episode, you're supposed to go above and beyond, or else it looks like a lazy and cheap way to pad out the episode. So make of this what you will. They give Cyborg an intervention and explain that he cannot do anything without playing the song besides, living, breathing, replying, but let's assume they mean more significant actions. Here's what I mean when I say this show doesn't give me anything to like. They say, and later on prove, that Cyborg cannot do anything without his song. Now, even though that's all fine, when did they show that Cyborg was doing anything but annoying his friends and dancing with the song? So they don't show the song being played all the time, but merely tell that Cyborg is playing it all the time. They don't show how Cyborg is super efficient with this song, but merely tell us that he couldn't. Storytelling rule number 1, show, don't tell. And before you say that they didn't have enough time to tell every little thing, most of this episode is like this. Robin informs the Titans that the Brain is attacking the city and they all go to save the day except for Cyborg. He instead has to stay home and try to open a jar without the song. I guess that's okay. I mean, when you fought with 4 people before, like when Robin couldn't take a break, it seemed to work out just fine. Also, opening a jar without music has the same amount of priority as saving an entire city. Okay.
I can do this.
We know you can, but the plot wants you to struggle. I mean, you're half machine, but apparently machines can't open a jar without music.
The Brain has captured the Titans.
Wait, what? It took 3 days for this alert to go off. Who rung the alarm? This is actually the only laugh it got out of me.
They need my help. But Robin was right. I've been using that song as a crutch. Without it, I don't have enough willpower to do anything. I understand now. Music is supposed to be a crutch. And right now, I need me some crutches!
Every Teen Titans Go has this moment. The moment when they take something so easy to say and smash it. All Cyborg has to say is, there's different ways to accomplish a task and you shouldn't rely on a certain way to do it, or something along the lines of that. This is the stupid moment. I've said in every single Teen Titans Go episode I review that there is always a moment where they say the most stupid thing possible just to say the most stupid thing possible. But no, apparently, since I have a weakness and since birds have the same weakness and they get work done, I should get work done. I originally was going to talk about how this show takes substance addiction and makes it look beneficial, but you know what? I'm lucky enough that this show has multiple things wrong with it. You know, this is one of the things where I would have loved to see how this sequence would have went if we saw how it went outside of his mind. The episode pads out its length by playing the song in its entirety, throwing this new art style in our face. Was there a reason to make a one-off gag in one show an entire episode? Geez, you really are the kids' version of Family Guy. Only replace cutaway gags with stomping on the nuts of morality. So Cyborg gets there and the tape gets knocked out of his body. So what do the other Titans do?
You think that will help?
They begin to sing the song, and Cyborg becomes Hulk Hogan and saves the day. What other episode from Teen Titans Go had a character do something in a repetitive fashion, which annoyed the other Titans, but they used that same repetitive annoying thing to save the day?
Waffles, 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 waffles.
The more I think about this episode is a crappy rehash of Waffles. The only difference here is that they don't drown out the entire episode with the song, just like Waffles. I can't believe with more time not focused on one solitary repetitive noise, they're even more vapid than the first time they tried it. Overall, this episode is boring and has horrible implications. I can't like the characters, they contradict each other and have a single track mind. There was little jokes because it was more story oriented and the story fell flat on its face. The art style, which is alright, doesn't excuse the fact that this is just a horrible episode overall, and the song, although good, does not save this. When I want to watch a TV show, I don't open Spotify, and when I go on Hulu Plus, it's not to listen to an album. Final thoughts? People want to nail Teen Titans Go on a board and burn it with fire. Well, Does it deserve as much hate as people are giving it? No. In preparation for doing this review, I decided to view other Teen Titans Go reviews. Some of them were so irrational that I couldn't finish the entire video. Some special keywords I want to point out: rape to my childhood, a crime on Cartoon Network, and just many others. It does not deserve as much hate as you're giving it. It deserves indifference. You know how Family Guy would always offend and upset its viewers and opposers? Well, now if you ask some of the viewers and opposers, they see Family Guy as boring. Yes, they're still trying to offend them, but we've grown a thicker skin and indifference towards it. So yes, I believe just like Family Guy sticks to its guns and does the same things its opposers hate, Teen Titans Go is not going anywhere if the ratings don't change. So if you really hate this show, don't watch it, don't talk about it, and just don't support it. The more you voice your opinion, the more attention you draw to the show. You know, when games and shows create controversy, there's a truth behind the notion that any press is good press. And by the way, I'm not talking to all people who oppose anything about the show. Legitimate criticism is imperative for improvement or discussion, especially in animation. I'm talking directly to the people who hate it, having no legitimate, fresh, or unheard criticism. In conclusion, Teen Titans Go and the hate hype it has passed. And now I truly don't care for either crowd. What we need to realize is that Cartoon Network right now is in a very good position, where every cartoon has a great selling point. And by each, I mean every single one of their main programming block cartoons. So please don't tear down Teen Titans Go because of its morals and principles, because they know the worst thing you can do is not mention it. Unless you're me, you have to mention it. Anyways, this was my final one, and like I said, I watched a lot of reviews of other people doing it because I wanted to see how my reviews kind of stacked up to the general YouTube reviewing opinion, and I honestly felt like a lot of the hate was just very toxic, and I don't want to come off as someone who hates the show because of it canceling out the time slot for Young Justice, or it doesn't give the Teen Titans fans what they want, because at the end of the day, I am just a person who hasn't really dived into the whole superhero niche part of Cartoon Network where they want to put on a Marvel or DC block, because that's not me. There's many people I know who don't even know the original Teen Titans, so when they watch Teen Titans Go, they like it because they don't know what Teen Titans is. So when you do know what it is and you don't like it, I understand, but there's people who do know what it is and they still kind of like it, like me. So if you really want to know my opinion about this show, it is that it's a show that you can't really take seriously because it's stupid. They know it's stupid. They want it to be stupid because they think that stupid sells. And as long as we talk about it, stupid sells. I hope your time was well spent, and Alpha out.